Hi guys, welcome in. Michael here. Very quickly in this video, I just wanted to cover a topic of feeling overwhelmed and having to overcomplicate things, how they're synchronous, and how you should really just spread those two apart. So this will be a very short video on this. I know I haven't been live in the group recently. I've had a lot of things covering. I cover multiple different businesses, as many of you already know. I do a lot of things and also financial services. Although I began my roots in the digital marketing agency slash affiliate marketing, I'm still around and I'm still producing. It's just a lot of my content and a lot of material that's been out there has been carrying a lot of weight, and I still do produce a lot at the blog. So if it isn't a video format, a lot of the times you might see it in the blog. So feeling overwhelmed, how does that translate to being overcomplicating? So you have to first think about what you're getting into. So you have to understand, look, as an affiliate marketer, what do I need to do? What is the bird's eye view, right? You look at a map, a blueprint. I used to do this a lot in manufacturing when I thought, in my younger 20s, when I thought that was something I wanted to do. And I had gone out of college and everything and university. And so looking at these blueprints, I'm noticing like where the different tool bits need to go, where the different needs of the drills, the punch on the tool, and I don't want to get into the specific terms, but you have to take a bird's eye view, but step back and take a breath. So yes, that will give you a game plan, what you need to do. And as an affiliate marketer, you're going to run into these blueprints, right? These strategies and these frameworks, and then the tactics, one or more tactics on how to tackle something. But at the very core of it, what you need to do is step back, take a breath, relax, and tell yourself, I have this. And you almost, I know I don't want to speak about how you have to say things into existence and you have to do all this personal development, hoopla, blah, blah, whatever. But it is strong, and you have to continuously work on developing yourself. And that is what's going to lessen the overwhelm in your life. And when you tackle this into business, is you need to work on this. So yeah, I get the frameworks, I understand all of that, but what do I need to do beforehand? I need to become the person who will then succeed and generate the type of outcome I want. And so overwhelm is coming from you feeling like you're not enough, feeling like you don't have enough, feeling like you come from a background where this won't work for you. You're feeling that you're limited depending on your technology, what is your environment. It's all about being resourceful. Right? If you don't have the resources, how do you get resourceful? You have to ask yourself the question. For example, a lot of the times when I used to live in California, I went through a rough patch after college. I came back home to Washington. I was in California. And then I went to California to work with an uncle of mine. And then I ended up having to leave that position and then went somewhere else. And then so things started changing where I was basically on my own out there. Yes, I was with cousins and I met some friends and I had some old buddies, but it wasn't as close. And what I had to realize was, how was I going to adjust, and how was I going to feel less stressed out that I have this place of loneliness. And I moved to Tustin, California at one point, and that I don't talk about too much, but it was a rough area, Hispanic area. I am Hispanic, and the culture is completely different. I'm not in the culture like most Hispanics would be technically, but what happens is, like, there were gangs across the other street that I didn't know there were gangs, but this was the situation. This was where I had to stay. This is the apartment I had to stay. My dad came by, and then we had our room to ourselves, and then this is when we were working there, and then we came back to Washington. So it was a great experience, great everything, but it was just also very learning and wide open experience where I could have given in easily at any moment. I could have felt, and don't think I wasn't overwhelmed, because there were moments where I was even worse, feeling overwhelmed, but I never let the subconscious part of my mind overtake it. No matter how stressful maybe the external environment was, no matter what was happening internally at the time, and I won't go too specific in the details of everything, but You have to step back and realize, take a breath. It's not as bad as you think it is. And at the core, you got to understand, when you get away from feeling that overwhelmed, like you're not enough, feeling like you can't continue, you always got to look back and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Your why will take you farther than anything else, and it has to come from internally. Like, my why is because I wanted more freedom for myself and my family, and so this was a reason that I wake up every morning and I do what I do. And even through the rough times and the uncomfortable spots, it doesn't bother me. Like, I know how to push past through it now. And so overwhelming and becoming more aware of that is the first thing you need to do, and then understand where you need to lead from there. Now, overcoming hard challenges and these difficulties, you just need to know what at the core is all that you need. You need to have a funnel, or you need to have the people that can land into a funnel. They go through like a bridge page / thank you page, then they go out through the other side to an affiliate product or wherever it is you're taking them. If you have your own products and services, great. Excuse me, but you need to understand that the reason you are feeling like this is too much is because it's coming from all this overwhelm over here on the left hand side that you have not yet dealt with. And then you're over here trying not to overcomplicate things, but you are, because you're like, what's a funnel? Or you already know all of this and you're in the process, but you still keep coming back to feeling overwhelmed because you don't have the foundation. And you may not feel like, well, I've been doing this for a month and I'm not getting results. It just doesn't always happen that way. You have to revise the strategy and the tactics. They're all great. Some can work faster than others, but you don't want to get too comfortable thinking, well, this should happen to me in a month. So whether you are a part of any program that I've sent you and you haven't taken any kind of an action, or if you're not finding the right results, maybe it's just a matter of becoming less overwhelmed, looking at that strategy and tactic because they work, and then running with it even more and being more consistent. The problem is that you're not. So for many people, we're overcomplicating something that is very micro. Even if it's at a macro, it's a very minuscule thing. And these are things that, again, comes to being resourceful. If you have to Google something, do it. If you need to find a video on YouTube to figure out how to do a specific thing, a strategy, that can help you as well. But what is going to carry you is what you got to ask yourself. Are you going to carry this overwhelming feeling into overcomplicating your affiliate marketing or any type of business model? Or are you going to let that overwhelm, and it's going to happen from time to time. Believe me, it comes back from time to time, but it's not going to be as impactful. It may be big, it might be small, but it won't deteriorate you and it won't push you in a different direction. So, for example, you're working here on your desktop, you're writing a blog post, you feel overwhelmed because this article needs to be about 4,000 words, and you're only at 1,000, and you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get to my 4,000. Well, what do you need to do to get to that 4,000? We have to reverse engineer. Do I have enough underneath my subtopics, underneath my main headlines? Do I have enough meat? Do I have enough benefits and features? Is there a story that's being told in my content? And this can transfer and translate into video content and other pieces of written and even podcasts and more. So to reduce being overwhelmed, we got to work on it. We got to be aware of it first. You got to understand where that is coming from. Why do you feel overwhelmed? Is it because you don't feel like you're good enough? You don't feel like you're getting the results after a month? You don't feel like your family appreciates you? I've been through all that myself. And so you have to first take a look at the cause, feeling overwhelmed because of, and then what is the effect that's making me feel, and how does it make me think and react? And then you put this reactant in, kind of like a chemistry equation. Put a little chemistry equation in, and it combusts, okay? And you don't want to have this combustion reaction that's just blowing up out of proportions, right? If it blows up in a good way, it's confined. And if it's let out, then at least it's circulating. But not to get too far out of in a tangent, just work on being less overwhelmed, and then less of a complication here. So overwhelm, being less complicated about your approach, and above all, be consistent, be persistent, and you will find things coming to you much sooner rather than later. But if you let up, either somebody else will take your place, or you will just be forgotten, or you will just end up sitting back and accepting what you have, and what you have may not even be good enough. Even at my point now where I'm producing and I'm doing well enough, I can sit back and say I don't need to produce content for a week or two or even more, and I will still have my content working for me, and I will still have my systems. But I don't want to. I want to be here present. A lot of the times you don't see me like this face to face. I'm more comfortable with being on like share screen or a little share screen on the top. But uh, that's everything I want to leave you with. If you got value out of this, please like it. Let me know in the comment section too what you need help with. What are you trying to figure out? And if what you're trying to figure out can be easily looked for, or can be easily like as a resource, like again being resourceful, finding that information, or just sticking through a course enough to see it through. Okay, so that's everything from me in this video. You guys have a great weekend if you don't see me or hear from me. But look through the channel as well. I've released some few videos on all types of content that will help you push through. I know it's been a channel that's been kind of multiverse, and maybe in the future I might separate some of that content, but you can see what I have going on there. All right, thank you. Bye.